So some of you recognize this. This is a rollback I bought a few months ago, and we've been doing a little bit of work here and there to it, just making improvements, making it better, fixing some things that are wrong. And I was using it the other day to deliver our old tow motor I had sitting in the shop that we just never used, and on the way back we had some troubles. I'll show you what that was, and then we'll get into the repair. So I'm in my little rollback, and we were about 40 minutes away from home, and the carrier bearing started making noise, and I got underneath it and looked, and I'm like, oh crap. So we started heading back, and we got about 10 minutes into our drive back, and we come across some real bumpy roads, and that just seemed to be the time when it wanted to let loose. So since then, I've been driving at 10 miles an hour for what, last half hour, and just trying to make it home and avoid a tow bill. Every mile I get closer, it's just that much cheaper if I gotta have it towed. But I guarantee you, this carrier bearing will make it all the way to the point where it breaks, for sure.
Well, we made it.
Just by the hair on my chinny chin, I guess. We made it nonetheless. So we're gonna treat the old girl to a couple new carrier bearings, some U-joints, and whatever else that drive shaft needs. But thank you, the little girl did good. She made it back home. Oh, you hear that?
Yeah, I hear it.
It's awful.
I mean, you knew it needed some work. You just didn't know it needed it that quickly. It's not like you were gonna just keep driving it, but...
No, I wasn't gonna keep driving it. It was just the fact that, you know, I haven't had time to get to it because we've been doing so many other things.
Right.
You know, and now the main priority right now is getting that engine out of that 4200. So this will have to wait a day, but it is what it is. She'll get what she needs. You feel how rough that is?
Yep.
The cage held together, man. It's all that matters. Now I'll show you what it looks like under there. But hey, she held together. And we made it. So they are metric.
That's crazy. That's like snow half mixed with ice or something. Falling.
A lot of good it's doing me to have cardboard to lay on, huh?
Yeah, I need to scoot it over a little bit.
Not doing so well with that. I think I can get in there with this. I didn't think I'd like this rollback as much as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing it's really missing that I wish it had was air ride. Been looking for the source of these oil leaks, and this clamp was loose as well, so I tightened it up, and I just happened to glance over here, and look at that. That thing is like ready to come through there with that little sissy cotter pin in there. I'm gonna have to do something with that. It's threaded, but it looks like the rest of the shifter rod is gone or something. It's out of adjustment, but we have so much play in that maybe could be part of it, maybe not all of it, but there should have been a washer here, and then the cotter pin. It shouldn't be resting against that washer. That ain't gonna work. I gotta fix that. All right, I got all three shafts apart, knocked all the U-joints out, and my wife cleaned them up. They were soaked in oil, so that hydraulic oil that was leaking. So she washed them all down with some degreaser. I got all the carrier bearings out. This truck utilizes 2 different inner diameter carrier bearings. One is smaller than the other, or one's larger than the other, however you want to say it. I didn't think I needed to replace these U-joints. They all felt pretty good, really, but you know, it's hard to make time to do this work to begin with, so it's easier just to do it all right now and hopefully not have to mess with it. I use that Tiger Tool U-joint press to press all the U-joints out. Works extremely well. No problems whatsoever. And here's the other one. This was the second one, the one that wasn't giving me troubles. You can see it's been hot too as well. And there's the rollers that were in it, all rusty. So that was about the last of their miles. Now we got our parts. Let's put them together. This is a U-joint set I use for the smaller ones. That's the press I was using. And this is the install tool. And there are yoke pullers. That goes on the caps. That would be the center. That's a forcing screw. And then these are the pliers to take the snap rings out. So we're gonna use a forcing press to put the caps in. Prepping the drive shaft before I put the U-joints in. You can see all the crud that was down in that snap ring groove. You can still see there's a bunch in there. You know, that rust accumulates where the snap ring isn't. There's a part of the snap ring that's open at the end, you know. Where is one? Here's one. So this part's in the groove, but this part isn't. So the groove will fill up with crap, rust and what have you, and then you don't get it back in the same spot. It doesn't let you get in all the way. So I like to take this screwdriver, which is just, I heated it up and bent a 90 on it. It's about the right width for that groove, and I clean that groove out. I'll look at it again, make sure I got it all out of there. Looks pretty good now, huh? Mm-hmm. Same thing with the inside the caps here and the ends of the yoke. Make sure it's good and clean. So now I'll do the same thing for all the end caps and the snap ring grooves. Yeah, you can see right there. Look like crud. First things first, take the cap. There's a little yellow retainer in these to hold the needle bearings. So I put that in the bottom, hold my thumb on it, and then tap this one in. Just enough to hold it. Grease fitting pointing in, and then this will sit down the needle bearings and allow me up high enough now that I can use my press and I can push that cap up. Flush. Now we'll take the next one. Make sure there's no dirt on the top of it. Like that. Keep her out. Push this U-joint up ever so slightly. Just to guide the needle bearings. Hold this up. Press it in just enough there. Got them pliers. Using my little fancy screwdriver. And then I want to check and make sure that we're in the groove all the way around. You should be able to see about half of that snap ring sticking out. Okay. Reverse it. I'll do this side. One done. Some electrical tape. Okay, one done. Okay. Alright, now we're on the next one. I'm going to drive that on, so I take the old inner race so I can have the diameter. Find me a piece of pipe. Something that fits not larger than that diameter. Now I'm going to make me a driver. Alright, so I need to make my driver, and I just got the new Evolution 380 saw. This one is a 15-inch cold cut miter saw, and they sent me this chop saw stand, so I can't wait to get this set up because I've been using my chop saw on the ground or on that little stool I got, and this is going to be so much nicer. I can't wait to get this thing set up. Now that's impressive. Send me an extra set of brushes. Nice. That's for the cutting the round stock. It's an adapter that goes on the fence, so it centers your anything round pipe, tubing, whatever. All right, let's get this thing out of here. The stand went together like in just minutes. It's self-explanatory. It's very simple, nice and heavy. One thing I'll tell you I really found nice was these adjustable legs. They put a white stripe there, so when you collapse them, they go in this hole right here. When you want to extend them, you push that button in, it slides. Well, at least you can see where the white line is, so you know where that needs to go, so you're not fumbling around forever. I like that. So let's get this out of here. Wow, what an impressive saw. The other one's heavy. This one has a cast aluminum base, which I think it's cast aluminum. I think it's cast aluminum. This must be an insert right here. But right off the bat, I prefer this wheel, much more like a drill press. This is more accurate here. I like that quite a bit better. I like the angle iron, or the Allen head socket storage. That's nice. And this one, like I said, takes a 15-inch blade, which is in the box here. One thing I'll tell you about these blades is you make sure you get the motor up to full speed before you engage the blade into your material. If you don't, you will lose teeth. Let's see, this is a 14-inch blade and 66 teeth, and I lost some teeth on my first blade from Evolution, and I replaced it with another one, and I was very happy with it. So now I have to figure out positioning of where the fence is, where I want it, and then get her fastened down. I think that's the way I want it. I'll look at the instructions and make sure that this is the way it's supposed to go, but I think it is. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is cut this pipe. So I've got the pipe adapter in here, and I'm just setting my supports up so we get the right length. I need to make a good straight cut on this because of the nature of what I'm doing. So I'm gonna bring that over, line it up where I think it needs to be, and we'll cut one. Push a button. Take it. Alright, so I want to cut this thing exactly 10 inches long. So I pulled this down and run my tape in, and let's see how good of a cut we can get. Kept running out of memory on the camera. A smarter guy would have set the outfeed table out so it, would have caught that, but whatever. If I've learned anything about using these carbide saws, is you try and avoid sparks. If you see sparks coming off, then slow down. That's what dulls them, it seems. But nice cut, nice cut. Let's see how close we are to the 10 inches that I needed. Hard to beat that. I love these saws. I have the other one. I've used the crap out of it. I use it all the time, and I just absolutely love that saw. This one's a little bit more powerful. It can take a bigger blade. It's got some other benefits to it that I really like. That table is awesome. I like that the table is not flat on the bottom. It's like rounded plastic, so it slides around pretty easy to move it. So now this is galvanized, so I'm gonna have to take the galvanized coating off in order to weld it. So let me get at it. I cleaned off the galvanized coating and I took it off the inside. I don't know if the inside matters as much. I just don't want to breathe it, and I can't imagine it's going to hurt anything. And this is nothing more than a cutout from a piece of plate steel for a LED light. I'll just put it on there and weld the bottom in. It'll be our driver. Using that Welder. It's that first is 5-in-1. It does flux core MIG, which is what I was doing here. It does flux core MIG. I'm doing gas shielded MIG. It does stick. It does TIG. It does plastic cut on one machine. Pretty versatile. I suppose I'll wait for that to cool down. Got plenty hot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll use it, and then I always paint them. But while it's cooling off, I'll just go ahead and take a flat disc to it and get this all cleaned up, ready to paint while that's cooling off. I got the carrier bearing pressed on. I slid my yoke back on, but it's very important that this yoke is in the same phase as this U-joint back here. Being it's laying flat on the drive shaft, we're relatively close, but you can put an angle finder on there. We're right at 0 degrees. And we can check it on here as well, and that way we know we're in the same phase. Because if this was off, say you're off just a few degrees, it changes the speed in which this drive shaft speeds up and slows down, because every time that joint has to come to a place where they turn, that speeds up for a second and then slows down, and it speeds up, slows down. So if you change this, it doesn't match that, it causes premature wear on the U-joints, carrier bearing, and can cause a vibration. You should replace the nut in the back of the yoke anytime you take it off. From me.
Well, I can stand down here.
Bars. Then we want to double check it.
Whoa, you're about to roll off.
Make sure we don't have any rattles or anything. And we don't. Okay. Only one problem. The bearing won't turn. Alright, so I have the yoke back off because as I tightened it up in here, this part of the yoke right here was coming in contact with the dust shield right here. What was happening is it was making it to where the bearing was loaded, and it made the outside race contact to where they can't turn independently from the inside race. So after going back to International and looking at what it calls for and what this is, the only I can come up with is this has been changed. Someone must have put this on at some point, and that's probably what destroyed the bearing in here. I did notice that the rubber was separated there before it went bad on us, and we knew he was going to have to do carrier bearing. We just didn't realize the cause. We saw the effects, but not the cause. So what this really needs to do is, you see this little ledge right here? That's as wide as it should be, because this is the original inner race for the bearing. So that should be about that size, and then come out to clearance around here, around that dust shield. I'm going to see if I can get this machine, because the yoke that International calls for does not have the right dimensions here. It's much wider. It's almost as wide as this, and it's not tapered. Most of them are just machined flat, and then it comes up to a step, and then you could get your dust shield on like that. So somewhere along the lines, someone's grabbed this off of something else and put it on here and didn't pay attention to the fact the bearing wasn't turning. So like I said, I'm going to take it and see if I can get it machined. All I need is about 3/4 of an inch out here to clear. I don't care about those dust shields. They rarely stay in place anyways, but I don't necessarily need that, but I do need this machined. Otherwise, they're $156 for this yoke plus shipping if you can find it. Like I said, I checked at the International, but down at AMI, and the one that they call for is not correct. It's too wide for what is supposed to be on the truck. So I don't know what's happened or what the listing shows or why, but you know, just sometimes these are the struggles. If I had a lathe small enough, I would do this myself, but I don't. Yet another job that I could use a lathe for.
I mean, really up here.
Ready?
Yes.
I think it's bottomed out. Yep, he's on. I gotta clean up this. This holds the boot. Alright, I gotta clean up a little bit. It goes on this way. Use the same driver. Put it on there. It's right up against it now. So now this go on like so. And then we put the slip yoke in. So we'll have to phase this U-joint with the one at that end, so we make sure that they're, you know, the one on the back end's like this and not like this. Alright, this is the original clamp that was on here. I just reuse these things. I spread that little part out and it makes it to where it'll come off, and I just re-crimp them. It's missing the inner one, so I'll have to find one for here, but I cleaned the splines too and put a little bit of lube on them. So now I'm going to put the clean up this yoke here, which I haven't done yet, and put the U-joint in. Well, this one's all back together. I'm going to go to the driveline shop, see if I can get another clamp for that. It's really not a big deal. This thing stays compressed most of the time. You know, there's more compression on it than there is expansion. It's not going to come off there, but I'll see if they have one. Now we're going to go to the machine shop and see if they can machine that for us and how long that's going to take. I forgot to mention something else I do on these drive shafts before I take them apart. These things are supposed to be balanced as a unit, all three pieces at one time balanced. So if it's balanced and you see there's weights there, well, obviously that needs to be in the correct orientation with all the others. So I always take a die grinder and just grind a little nick everywhere on the yokes, where everything meets, so that when I go to put it back together, I'm looking at those nicks and I'm making sure everything's back together the way it was, the way it's supposed to be. I used to use chalk, but you know, one thing leads to another. I like to clean stuff up and paint it. Next thing you know, you can't see it anymore. So that's just something I wanted to touch on. Some primer and paint, that'll work just fine. There's the other ones I made for other drive shaft diameters for the carrier bearings. Makes it pretty handy. Alright, I just got my yoke back from having it machined, and it works perfect. Apparently I'm not left-handed. Look at that. Look at that. She's a daisy. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning it up real good, and I'm going to give it a paint job. I don't want it getting all rusty, so I'll clean it up, put some primer and paint on it. I'm going to let this dry overnight. I got 2 coats of primer, and it's a second coat of paint, so I'll let it dry overnight, and then we'll put it together tomorrow. It's all dry, ready to go on, so I need to get it all set up here. And when I go to put this on, I like to replace the nut, and I'll also go ahead and use some thread locker on the threads as well. So let me get this set up. All right, we are on. Everything's in line and phased proper. Go stick the drive shafts in. Clean up all the bolts and all the straps so that I'm certain the U-joints get seated all the way and the bolts get in all the way. So I'll clean them in this mineral spirits, and then I'll clean the brake parts cleaner. Get the mineral spirits off. Alright, we got all the drive shafts in and everything is greased. I went to the international dealer and looked at this, and believe it or not, this is how it's supposed to be. That pin comes through, there's no washer. That will be an issue someday, so I'll probably change that. Maybe I'll build something that works a little bit better, where you got a little bit longer post and put a washer in there. There's not enough room for a washer. That's all you can do. But anyways, that's it for this. It's all in, so I guess we can move on to the next one. So hope you enjoyed. All right, so I've had this saw for quite some time, and I want to be 100% transparent about this. Evolution sent me this saw. They sent me that table, and they sent me the other Evolution saw I have, and they sent it for free. I didn't pay for this. I've been using the other one for, I don't know, probably pushing 2 years now. Absolutely love it. In fact, I was getting ready to buy that saw when Evolution contacted me and offered to send it to me, and that's how much I was convinced I would like it. And I do, but I just want to make it clear that, I didn't pay for this. However, that didn't change my opinion. Just like anything else you see that I show, a tool, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. I get contacted quite often from manufacturers that want to send tools to us, and quite honestly, a lot of them we just refuse. I would say 99% of what we are offered to be sent, we refuse. And we just pick what we think we can use and what we think is a quality product. I'm extremely happy with Evolution Saw. I think most of you guys that watch me all the time know I believe in their saws. I love them. It makes me so much more a better fabricator than I really am. I mean, it's just incredible, the improvements that it's made in what I build. So, that being said, I just want to be transparent. I'm going to continue to use this thing. I love that table. It is so nice to be up this high and, not be on the ground. I'll continue to, and you guys will see it in a lot of videos because that's what I do. It's real life, real world. When I'm using it, you're going to see it in the videos because that's what it's for. It's not a showpiece or something that we're going to use once and set it on a shelf. We don't do that. We take stuff that we can use. If it's not something we need or something we can use, I'm not interested, but I love that saw. I love all the Evolution products. They have a mag drill, and I've been considering trying that out. It's a little bit smaller than my Milwaukee, and I've been thinking about contacting them, see about that. I don't know if you guys would be interested in the mag drill or not. It's electric. It's not cordless. It is corded, but I'm thinking about trying that because it's got a little compact design to it. But anyways, if I do, I'll let you know.